Dave,
John,
Shane,
Chad,
these sci-fi guys.
Welcome to these Sci-Fi Guys. I am your host, Dave, and with me is John and Chad, and we have a new person. You guys might have remembered him back from when we did Pacific Rim. We have with us Shane. Shane is now a full-fledged member of the Sci-Fi Guys and is going to be on with us quite a bit. So welcome, everybody. How was your holidays, your Christmas break? Did everyone get a nice break away from work and everything? Or Chad, we're on audio now, so you have to talk. You can't just nod your head.
No, I didn't. Unlike these guys that work for a school system, I don't work for a school system here.
Yeah, that's true. You didn't have much of a quote unquote break. A few days.
Yeah, you probably had Christmas Day off, and then you were like back to work.
Yeah, back to work for me.
Oh,
goodness.
man. Well,
I enjoyed every second of my break. Every second of it.
Amen to that, brother.
I was painting. As you guys can, if you're on video, you'll see all new background behind me. I'm in a different room now. That's what I'd spent most of the time. I was in here painting and cleaning, and the ceiling in here was caved in right after the last hurricane. So I've been fixing this room up to move into it. So
It looks awesome.
My stuff, and I've got new posters. Some of these are my old posters. I got a few new ones, so they will be here next week, hopefully. So we'll see from that. But anyway, enough talk of all that. By the way, if those of you out there in YouTube land and Spotify, Apple, all the places that we're at now, welcome to 2025. Shouldn't we be on the moon or something? You know, I mean no, that's Space 1999. Sorry, that's way before all y'all's time anyway. But no, really, we are going to be reviewing a movie again today. We are doing Flash Gordon, the one from 1980. He is the savior of the universe, right?
Yeah, the one repeated line over and over.
Yes.
Yeah, that line right there.
Yes.
Oh man, everybody. Well, we those of you, I remember seeing this movie in the theaters. So, and some of these guys, it's their very first time watching it. So it was, I'm sure we're going to discuss a lot of this stuff today. But we are doing a brand new segment for 2025. It's called Behind the Scenes. So first thing, I found this very, 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 very interesting. There was a certain producer who tried to get the rights for this movie in 1970. He was unsuccessful. Well, that producer was George Lucas. And I want to say thank you, King Features, for not giving George Lucas the rights, because otherwise he would have never made Star Wars.
I mean, we'll give it that in terms of the timeline we're in, but man, can you imagine if he had made Flash Gordon?
Oh, man.
Considering what he did on Star Wars?
Oh, man. Game changer.
It would have been a different movie, but we would have never had Star Wars Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll definitely take
all
having
that.
Star Wars, but he had to have had that in the works still.
Well, no, I think
because he had it written out.
He probably would have had Star Wars. It just wouldn't have came out when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably would have been later.
Yeah.
So, but then
And
Flash
if Flash
Gordon
had
wouldn't
been
have been as good
Yeah.
either, because he tried getting it in 1970. You know, you didn't get the effects until really 75 is when they were recording. You know, 75, 76 is when they were recording Star Wars. So I don't know. I would be, I mean, that's one of those things. What if, you know, I would love to know that. But hey, we talked about Star Wars, right? The Empire Strikes Back. It cost $18 million to produce. How much do you think it cost to produce this movie?
5 mil.
Okay,
10
John says
million.
5 mil. Chad, what about you?
I say 3.
3 mil. Okay, Shane,
Ooh, I'll go 7.
7 mil. Multiply that by a lot. $27 million dollars to make
Wow.
Wow.
Flash
Oh,
Gordon.
so it went way
1980.
over, not way under.
Way
Wow.
over. Yes, way over. And speaking of $27 million dollars, that's all it made in the United States and Canada was $27 million. It was a total bomb. It made a total of 46.5 million. Almost all of that was in the UK. So, it made
Wow.
half here in the United States and then half in the UK. So, did you guys think it was kind of campy?
Certain
I mean,
spots.
The
Yes.
spots.
Yes.
Well, the writer was Lorenzo Sample Jr. All right, and he is better known for writing Batman, the original series. So he
Nice.
that's why a lot of the stuff kind of felt like the old series.
That
It was just-
explains so much. So
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, he was the writer, and the director was like, "No, it can't be funny," and he's like, "But you wanted it this," and so that's why certain parts were like, "What?" It just didn't make sense because he kind of wrote it to be funny, and they wanted the actors to be serious.
So they
You know.
kind of. So that's why you didn't expect the words to pop up.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of expected that with kind of the theme and everything. Okay, Sam J. Jones, Flash Gordon. All right, they found him on the dating game.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, they found him on the dating game of all things. They were like, "Oh, okay." He has a background in he was like a minor football player. He had a minor in some other minor like wrestling or something. I mean, so he was a big guy. He was body built. He was a good looking guy. So they made him dye his hair blonde because it was naturally kind of a little darker. And they wanted him to have blue eyes, but he couldn't wear contacts. So, yeah. Well, anyway, he got into a lot of fights away from the movie, and actually, the director came into the operating room and was like, "Fix his face, make sure his face is okay," and anyway, it just kind of went downhill from there. He actually Sam
Because it
Jones
has to be
quit
okay.
part way through the movie. I mean, towards the end, did none of the promotional stuff. He was like, "No, I'm not doing it. I don't care. I don't." And they had to get another voice actor to do some of his line, actually. So some more dubbed by somebody else. So yeah, and it was supposed to be a trilogy. It was going to be a trilogy, and with the crashing of I mean, not crashing, but well, I guess you could say crashing. It was just it crashed and burned, as we like to say, at the box office. And then with this whole thing with Sam J. Jones, they were like, "No, we can't do any sequels. It's not going to happen." So, all right, one of our favorite guys, Brian Blessed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Brian Blessed. They had to. You would not believe how many shoots they had to redo because he kept going pew 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 pew, just as he could not stop doing it, and he just absolutely loved it, because and he only got paid like something like £30,000. I mean, it was like nothing. It was like pennies to do the movie, but he had such a kick out of it. I got
He
two
was
more.
fantastic. He was
go on.
fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, and honestly, that I think that's where most of the salary went to was the big name actors. I mean, you had Timothy Dalton. You had Max Vaughn. I can't think of his last name. Anyway, but he's big, and so and then Brian Blessed was big. All of them were Shakespearean actors. And then that's why they ended up casting Sam J. Jones, because he was a nobody, and they were like, "Well, we can pay him nothing." And same with the one that played Dale; she was a nobody, Although Sam J. Jones did go on and had some minor roles. Apparently, in the movie Ted, I've never seen it, but in Ted, there's a whole sequence where he's in it as Flash Gordon. And then
Go back and watch.
and they kind of reenact the whole him flying on the jet ski and the thing. It's supposedly pretty funny. We'll have to go on YouTube and look it up. So just type in Ted Flash Gordon or something like that. It's on there. So supposedly it's pretty funny. Okay, but again, he was not the first choice. The first choice was Kurt Russell and Arnold Schwarzenegger. They were both the first choice to be Flash Gordon. However, for Arnold, they didn't like the accent at all. Couldn't stand his accent, so they were like, "Nope, it's not going to work." And they said Kurt Russell's personality was bland, and I'm like, Kurt Russell's a fantastic actor. I have one in our list. It's a B movie, but you guys will love it. So it's kind of in the fantasy realm.
Can I guess?
Sure, go ahead, Chad.
Escape New York.
Are you sure you're not going to be in big trouble if I mention it?
No.
Okay, see, he didn't know it. He doesn't know what it is.
I know what it is. I'll just do Big Trouble in China.
There you go, Big Trouble in Little China. We will be doing that later on this year. That is going to be it's in the fantasy realm. So we consider sci-fi fantasy all kind of a intermix. Anyway, enough of that about that. Freddie Mercury from Queen actually used his graphic design skills, and he's the one that designed the Flash Gordon logo that they ended up using. They used it first on the album, and then, of course, later on to the title. Well, what? Right here, right there. The lightning bolt with the circle through it and all that. He's the one that designed all that. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Great poster. Such a great poster.
Oh yeah. And then Queen was not their first choice for music. Actually, the director said, "Who was the Queens?" He had no idea who they were. I mean, think about it. This was released in 1980, so they were filming it. They finished filming. I'm sorry, I take it back. It was released in December of 79, so 1980. It was right around that time period. Another one, Bites the Dust, did not come out until January or February of 79. Mm-hmm. So, and Bohemian Rhapsody was not a popular song.
No.
People didn't like it because it was too long. Now, it's a great song. Everyone loves it. But then the radio stations wouldn't play it. They were like, we're not going to play anything that's longer than 3.5 minutes. I mean,
yeah.
So Queen was not that well known. They wanted Pink Floyd. Actually, the director would actually sit there and take his guitar and play Pink Floyd in between sets and stuff. So, yeah. With that, let's go to our questions. Okay, think back to 1980. Some of y'all might have had to do some research. I'm not sure any of Shane might have been alive in 1980. I don't think so. No. Yeah. You guys are
86.
Yeah, I might have to do some research on this. So probably the best part of this movie was the music.
Mm-hmm.
In this.
I agree.
What other musical group or an artist do you think could replace Queen as the music for this? I'm going to I know Shane is because Shane has a music major, if those of you that don't know. So we're going to put him for the last.
Oh, man.
I'm going to ask John, what musical group or artist?
My main choice was still in the rock world, as is my backup. I said Van Halen probably would have made a killer backup there, especially thinking the sound of Jump.
With keyboard and all that, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think they definitely could have knocked it out of the park. Foreigner could have had a chance, but their sound wasn't quite. To me, it's not psychedelic enough. They have the classic rock sound that could fit, but from what I know of Foreigner, it's not quite as psychedelic. Van Halen kind of hits more of that with the synths and all that they hit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. Okay.
So
I could see them. I can see it doing that, especially the rock part. I mean, like that that last scene where he's flying Ajax down into the, you've got to have that rock sound,
Oh, yeah.
dun, 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 dun. If you don't have that and you just kind of have that synth sound or something, it wouldn't go. So I can see Van Halen, absolutely. Chad, how about you?
Oh, Van Halen was a good answer, but I think either Rolling Stones.
Mhm.
Okay,
And
Rolling
if you
Stones.
to go with the rock group, but if you want to go outside of the rock group, I can see the brothers Bee Gees.
Mhm.
They're them doing
Yeah,
it.
I could see that.
Yeah, I can see the Bee Gees. I mean, they're a little bit more disco-y.
Disco. That's what I mean. Like if you want to
Yeah, but Staying Alive would have been killer.
killer.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay, Shane, Mr. Music, let me hear yours.
Okay. So I was looking forward to this question. So the biggest thing with Queen is that Queen they had such a chameleon-like sound. They could do so many different kind of genres. None of their songs sounded the same. They could do so much stuff. So my two groups that I looked at, one of them actually, Freddie Mercury, who's the lead singer of Queen, if you didn't know, Freddie Mercury, one of his biggest inspirations was David Bowie. So one of my picks, of course, would be David Bowie. You get the inspiration, you go on from there. One of the things with David Bowie also is that he did a lot of different styles. He introduced a whole lot of different styles. And frankly, I mean, Freddie Mercury got a lot of his stuff from him. So it kind of makes sense. The other one that I'm going to mention is ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra.
Nice.
One of the things with them, okay, don't bring me down, okay? You can kind of hear that playing. But one of the things with them is that they incorporated rock and classical. They did a lot of that together. So that really fit when you think about what made Bohemian Rhapsody so famous was that it was basically opera in rock. And Dave, to your point, that was also a reason why people didn't really get it when it first came out. I was like, why are we listening to this? It was so out there.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be such a modern day classic, but it took a long while.
Yeah.
But I would say those would be my top two, probably.
Man, I'm upset I didn't think about ELO.
ELO would be really good. It really, well, I kind of went out there on a couple of them. If you were sticking in the rock lane, I was thinking ZZ Top. Just because
Good choice.
just because they had that rock sound, I didn't want to go so far as AC/DC. I thought about them originally, and then I was like, no, they kind of sound the same. All their songs pretty much sound the same. Like there's some songs of ZZ Top. I was like, that's ZZ Top. I didn't even know that, because they did have a kind of a different sound. But probably I'm still torn. I've got two that I'm torn between. Styx is one of them. Because if you listen to some of their rock stuff, is really good. I mean, there's like one song in particular is called Miss America. It's rock all day long. And then you got to the other extreme, Mr. Roboto.
Oh, yeah.
Highly synthesized, very, poppy, definitely different. But I think the more I think about it, the more I'm going to settle on Rush.
There we go.
Rush would just because of their sound is so different. It doesn't just hit the rock genre. It can go in so many different ways. And their style of music it changes so much. It's so good. They're really one of my favorite bands. I really love them a lot. So let's go to my next question. We've talked a lot about music, but we love music too. So
that's right.
That's great. You can tell, those of you out there, you can tell we've had a hiatus for the last few weeks. So we've been chomping at the bit like, okay, we're ready to get back to this. So we may talk a little bit more this one than we normally do, but it's just because we're really excited about this. And this really was a fun movie. Okay. Now we got some deep questions here. Some of these are deep. All right. So what does Flash Gordon's journey teach us about the qualities needed to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds? Let's start with just that part.
I mean, overall, I think this whole film really hits on, and it's a very popular meme at this point. Just the indomitable human spirit. Like, basically, no matter what, humans just don't give up. And I think overall, just that persistence, I think, is key. Especially in his journey alone. I mean, just at no point does he ever just lay down and take it. He is constantly trying to survive. And I think that's just a huge part of the quality to overcome, especially, like you said, insurmountable odds. Man, you really got to have some no give up in you, some grit.
Yeah, true grit.
Yeah. Shane, you got anything different?
I totally agree. I think one of the things, whenever you're talking about something that seems like it can't be conquered, it's perilous, you kind of have to have just a pure, fearless desire. You have to just say, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And I think the word that Jonathan used, grit, is absolutely perfect. And I just think it's that nature of, no matter what happens, I'm going to push through. It's that perseverance factor, basically, is what it is.
Okay. Chad, you got anything else to add to that? Or
I agree with all that. He didn't want to give up. He, even at the end where he was like fighting at the death match with trying to win, and say he still was not. He was fighting, but at the end, like, look, why are we fighting each other? Let's fight Maine. Let's all of us join in. Let's go in and go.
yeah, I mean, he said that multiple times. Hey, let's team up. Let's team up. And they didn't get the concept of teaming up.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm you guys all said some of the same things that I have actually here. I was like, humans need to be challenged, you know, and if they're not challenged, they kind of sit back and we become lazy. You know, we sit there and play cat videos on our phone all day, you know. I mean, and I really think that, you know, I mean, in this movie really pushed it to the next level, is that, you know, hey, Flash Gordon was kidnapped, basically, you know, thrown into this situation, and yet he never gave up.
Mm-hmm.
Never gave up. Where is it? Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? If I can find it in here.
Never give up.
I can't find it. It's here it is.
Never give up. Never surrender.
Never say we're there.
That's it. Never give up. Never, you know. Hey, that would have been a great line for this movie.
That would have been.
Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, are earthquakes on other planets called earthquakes? Or something else?
I kind of hope not. I kind of hope that there are more oh gosh, what's the word? More I just totally lost my train of thought. More interesting names out there than just earthquake. I kind of hope there's, I mean, when you think about different languages and stuff like that, but I would hope they would have something a little more creative.
Anybody else?
I say the earthquake. I don't think there'll be.
I mean, it is Earth is a synonym with ground, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
you
Yeah, I was about to
ground
say,
quake,
if
you
we
know.
go teacher on it, earthquake is just ground shaking. And so, like, if you translate that to any other language, whatever they say is ground shaking, that's what you would end up with as the word. But it's so much more fun to think that they just call it like
Yes.
a Pluto quake or a Venus quake or a ZR25 quake, you know? And maybe not even quake, something else fun
Or just
for
a
shake.
quake.
I
don't know.
agree. I
Just
agree.
call it a quake, ground quake,
No,
or something.
That's less fun. That's
That's
I
right.
know it's less
it needs
fun.
something a little bit more.
Okay, but this is. I'm not going to call this a plot hole, but then why is it on his buttons? It said earthquake.
Because they need to change it.
Exactly.
That's what we're going to talk about.
because they translated it to English so the viewer understood.
Oh,
Jonathan, we're off the
Okay.
clock. You don't have to be a teacher right now, okay?
yeah.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
didn't. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right. So how does Zarkov's scientific ambition and methods complicate the narrative? And what ethical dilemmas does his character raise? I mentioned earlier he kidnapped Dale and Flash.
Yeah.
So we can throw that out there as an ethical dilemma.
Well, he was going to kidnap his assistant too.
That's true. He had him at gunpoint.
Until Flash and Dale showed up.
Yeah, true.
Or no,
I mean, listen,
he was going to kidnap Dale. Flash, he was trying to get out of the racket till.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, even getting captured and trying to get brain and getting erased. I don't. So much dilemma there for him. He could have just been put up. I don't know. I'm not even gonna say.
I mean, let's just say rules have someone behind them all the time, and science is not exactly known for great ethics in its history. And I think Zarkov just kind of follows that trend. I mean, between the kidnappings, again, the survivability, it's highly there. But even still, trying to do science after he's kind of been kicked out of the science world also says a lot in general. Like, he had a lot of equipment that he probably shouldn't have had. So he probably had some stolen equipment there. The guy was just not operating under any authority. And I think that
And they
raised
thought
a
he
lot
was
of
nuts.
issues.
Yeah.
You know, the scientific community thought he was nuts.
Mhm.
You know,
Well, if he's
even
going
NASA,
against the
they were
grain
like,
that much, I would have too.
Yeah, agreed.
yeah. Oh,
I just think that sorry.
Go ahead. No, go.
I just think that the overall desire for what he was trying to look at, kind of like what Jonathan and Chad were saying, just his overall thought just clouded the methods that he was using. So he didn't really care about who was hurt or anything like that. He just wanted to find the solution. And I think that strong of an ambition, of course, is dangerous because you put others in peril, even when you may not necessarily intend to. Now, I think he did. Intend to put people in danger, but at the same point, even if you weren't, if you were that laser focused, you would miss the things around you, and putting others in danger was most certainly one of them.
Okay, well then, do the ends justify the means?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Man was just off his rocker.
He was off his
It
rocker.
worked out for him in the long run, and it ends up saving Earth in the long run. But the man was off his rocker.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that Ming specifically tells him is that, hey, because you were out there looking for us is the only reason we found you, and it's your fault that I'm destroying the Earth. You know, so I know he might have done that as a tactic, just to break him even more. But it still makes you think. There could be somebody else out there listening to our podcast. I doubt that, but you never know. I mean, everything that we put out there on the radio waves and on video and all that, it and we do have to think about what we produce. What we do as a human species. What we're doing, especially when it comes to scientific knowledge. I mean, I remember you guys, this was way before your time, but they used to use animals for all kinds of testing, all kinds of products, makeup, hair products, shampoo, and they used animals to do all that with. And then there was a big deal about it, and I want to say it was like it's late 70s, early 80s. There was a big deal about all the animals that were being tested on, and so it makes me kind of go back to this question is, it definitely complicates things, when you want to do things to further our knowledge of whatever our science, but there are certain things that we need to say, no, this doesn't need to happen, um Okay. Well, since we're talking about things that don't need to happen again, let's go ahead. I had sent y'all a bonus question. I'm going to go ahead and use it. Would we as a society ever get back to public execution similar to how this movie did it? You know, I mean, it was right there in front of everybody in a glass case. You know, luckily the smoke that they put in there was dark, so you didn't actually have to see his face or anything. But would we as a society ever get back to doing this? I mean, I know public executions used to be you watch them, but then now, you know, where it's pretty much they're in a room by themselves. It's either injection or whatever, you know. So, what do y'all think?
I mean, I think if you go through enough time, things tend to repeat themselves. I mean, trends have trended and left and trended and left. Sure, the technology changes, the methods change, but humanity has a bad problem of repeating past offenses, and I definitely don't think this would be outside of that realm. The question to me would be more so not if this ever happens again, but like how far in the future would it become a possibility? I mean, currently, yeah, I mean, we're more against that idea, especially publicly having people watch it. But like, I definitely could see, depending on world powers, depending on who ends up in power. I mean, it could be 1,000 years, it could be 10,000 years. I don't know, but I definitely think humanity tends to repeat itself enough that it's definitely possible.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody
Totally
else have
agree.
anything? Yeah.
Totally agree. I just think that should we? Absolutely not. But could we? I could see it happening. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. Some things to think about. So, I hope we never get there, but as a society, we could. So, all right, let's go to our next segment. Plot holes. Was that longer than normal? I don't know. I might have to edit that down. Maybe too long. Who knows? It just says plot holes for those of you out there on audio, and it's just kind of a cool little graphic. But yeah. All right. What did you guys see? Any of you guys saw any blatant besides the entire movie being a big plot hole? So,
Oxygen in general. How are they breathing anywhere?
Wait, there's not oxygen everywhere, John?
Oh, we wish. We
Just
really
kidding.
wish.
Just kidding.
I mean, blatantly, at the end, he's riding that ski out in space, going through there. How? I'm agreeing with that, John, with the oxygen out there. How did he survive without something to breathing after rabbits?
well, I didn't think it was space. I thought Mongo was the planet, and all of these were different, like continents or countries on the same
Yeah,
planet.
but I mean, we
But
have
I could be
fiery
wrong.
lakes and sulfur and everything else. I mean, you're not breathing through all of that.
Yeah, that's true.
And they had to travel through space to get there. Either way, something's awry there.
Yeah. Okay. Shane, did you see anything?
I think really the oxygen thing was kind of the biggest thing for me. I think that and this is something just minor, but I think that a lot of the aliens kind of looked like humans, except for like ones with wings and stuff. And I would kind of like to see a little bit more of a differentiation there. But
Yeah, but you
I'm
had
not
the
sure that's
little-
necessarily a plot hole, you know.
You had the little
Well, yeah.
things with the face in them. I mean, that look like Kermit the Frog with a face
Right.
inside of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You
True.
can tell where their budget didn't go to.
Special effects.
All right. If nobody else has any more, I got a couple. Okay. You know that all football players are divas. Not all of them, but most of them are divas. Not very many of them wear flash their name across the front of their jersey or their shirt when they're walking around. However, when
Aaron
they have a
Rodgers
lightning-
might. Aaron Rodgers might if he had a logo.
maybe. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could have seen other quarterbacks. I cannot think of his name. He used to be with the Panthers. I can't think of who he is now.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton. Thank you.
Yeah, he
I-
absolutely would.
I could see something like Cam going, Cam, you know.
Or the guy that was at FSU played with the Bucks.
Jameis, yeah,
Yeah.
Jameis Winston.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I mean, but he just was he was just jacked up on Mountain Dew all the time. It seemed like. You know? I mean, he just seemed really happy on stuff. I don't know. But anyway, I digress. So, Flash on the front of your shirt. Did you guys notice the back of his shirt? He had a lightning bolt going across it, right? Why is it then when he gets to Mongo and Aurora breaks him out, the shirt he's wearing has the lightning bolt right across the front of it? You know, it's like, who had time to put your lightning bolt on local jerseys? You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Why does Flash need a device to communicate via telepathy with and help how to use it, yet Dale just talks out loud and her voice reaches Flash without any device? I don't know. I thought they would have had to have the device, but maybe not.
Or something.
Yeah. Okay. Two of the big ones, the last ones. I got two more. Princess Aura is Ming's daughter. Right? They said that. It's Ming's daughter. Ming has green blood. Aurora has red. You could see when she was getting whipped, it was red blood, not green. So, was she really his daughter, or is it
half
just
genetics? Half genetics, not 100%.
Well, okay. And then, all right, at the end, Flash manages to stop Ming literally right before the countdown stops. Right?
Yeah.
At that point, isn't it too late? If you think about it, the moon has already been sucked into Earth's gravitational pull. It's done, you know.
About 5 seconds, you were not saving it.
Exactly. I mean, it's not going to be like, oh, whoop, okay, let's just go back up. You know, it's done. So, yeah.
I also just in general, Flash being a football player and beating off a whole other planets like warriors, it's so far-fetched.
Yeah.
Yes.
What you mean? Like, is it going to come up? I said, click on add to stage. Click. There you go. You got Flash. Oh yeah, quarterback of the New York Jets, probably the best quarterback that the New York Jets has seen.
I would agree. After seeing some of his passes, they were more accurate than some of the others I've seen.
Fictional or not, he's the best one they've had.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go to our next segment. Fixing or improving. What would we do to either fix or improve this movie? Let's start with you, Shane. What would you do?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that when you mentioned in the other sci-fi stuff, when you mentioned that this was supposed to be a trilogy, that makes perfect sense because the hardest thing for me for this movie was there was so much. It was so many different worlds, so many transitions, and just a lot. I felt like it could have really been spread out a whole lot. I don't know if I would have done a trilogy necessarily, but maybe at least 2 movies, maybe. But I just think it needed more time to kind of develop and explain and everything like that.
Okay. Chad, how about you?
I'm about the same, but or if you to fix and improve, even though it was not a trilogy, take the part where you see somebody takes Ming's rings and he zaps them back into resistance. I mean, you see that and you hear it, and then it leaves you, what's going to happen? I would have thought there would have been another movie or some kind of follow up on it, but I know it's not out there, so I'll at least cut that out. That way, hey, if you know you're not going to make another movie, cut that out. Other than that, I mean, maybe spend some more time on just some more time building the different people out of this movie.
Yep, I can see it. John, how about you?
This I think definitely could stand up to some modern graphics. It's, some of the classics stand the test of time and things, and it is comical and not comical as in funny. Like, it looks comical in the art style and stuff, and I do appreciate that aspect. But I definitely think it could do a modern upgrade, even without CGI, even more, even just better practical effects for the time it was around would have been great. And then also give Flash something, some form of power, something on the ship, some something, just to give him a little bit more of an edge that makes sense for him doing what he did. I get his never give up spirit, and I'm completely fine with that. I just need him to have something that makes him make more sense to take on a whole other planet and aliens.
Gordon's alive.
Yeah. That was a question throughout. Gordon's alive? How could he be alive after all that? I mean, I kind of followed what Chad was saying is, especially like the end, like the end fight. To me, it was all Hawkman. I didn't see any of Baron's people there at all. They should have had some ships or something with that. And honestly, I think, unlike Shane said he would have kind of shortened it. I would have lengthened it and had a third planet or something that he actually had to visit and get to know somebody else. And that way it's 3 people getting together, and you've got the diversity of the Hawkmen, you've got these ships, and then you got those ships, and they're all coming at the same time. I just think it would have told a better story at the end, especially because honestly, it just looked like that Hawkmen they said they were a year out with their weapons, but they did pretty well, I think that Flash should have been able to keep a watch or something. They even have him look at his hand, but there was nothing there, and he's like, well, we've only got 4 hours left or whatever, like if they would have let him keep a watch or something, then it could have been back on Earth's time. So he kind of knew what was going on, how much time was left or whatever. And I think the big thing for me would have been Zarkov meeting Flash and Dale. That should have been if he would have kidnapped them, then I think the whole movie should have been Flash and Dale joining up trying to find Zarkov to either get back at him or get them back home. Either that, or at the beginning, Zarkov talks to them enough and convinces them we've got to go do this, otherwise we're the only ones left. We're the only ones, get them to think of it as a world. Hey, if we don't do this now, it's not going to happen. Like aliens are coming down or something. I don't know, something different. And I think the biggest thing is at the end, you see Flash Gordon step on the ring and shatter it. That would have been cool. Then there would have never needed to be a sequel, because he saw the ring. He's kept looking at it. Hey, your powers are fading. And then it falls. To me, he should have picked it up and dropped it and smashed it or something, or put it in his pocket or something different. I just think that would have been kind of unique, different, special, yellow pill. It's sorry, I'm doing a Wayne's World commercial. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go to our next segment. Okay, we are going to rate this on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. I'm the one that picked this movie out, so I guess I'll go ahead and do my rating. I love this movie. It's fun. It's one of those ones that if it's ever on, I'm not turning it off. I get lost very easily in it. I'm going to give it 3 lightsabers, just because the music was fantastic. I love Brian Blessing. Zoltan. Bolton, excuse me. I thought he was one of my favorite characters. Seeing Timothy Dalton not being James Bond was fun. So I give it 3 stars, or 3 lightsabers. Stars. Where do they come from? Okay, Shane, how about you?
So you can tell, just being honest, David, I know you love this movie. you can tell why it didn't gross a whole lot, just to be honest with you. There are plot holes. There's a lot of updating that needs to be done. Now, granted, it was 1980. I get that. But I can also completely see why this is a cult classic. I can completely see why the music is phenomenal. So glad that Queen did it. And really, truly, just to be honest with me, even though it felt like it was a lot to take in, the longer it went, the more it grew on me. To where by the end, I was really, really enjoying it. So I'm going to go just a little bit lower and do it 2.5.
Okay. 2.5. All right, Chad, how about you?
I agree with you, Dave. I mean, it's a great movie. If I to watch it again, I'll watch it again and be stuck into it because I love the music. I mean, you can't go without. If you can have a bombing movie and have a best movie score, and you still be drawn into it, but I'll give it 3 because it's what it is.
All right, 3 stars. So, John, how about you?
All right. I'm right along the same track. However, I love the campiness. I love the comical, again, vibe that it gives. Honestly, to me, it captures the vibes of the 80s very well. Cinematically, kind of culturally, like it hits a lot of those elements. And of course, I would watch it again. So for me, slightly higher, actually. Just your friendly neighborhood reviewer here with 3.5.
3.5. Okay. Well, now we're getting ready to start a new segment. We're going to call this Other Sci-Fi Stuff. We are not actually going to do this each week. I'm the one that picked out the movie, so I'm going to be the one talking about it. But I want John. John is the one that came up with this idea and said he wanted to go ahead and have us do this. So, John, just kind of explain what you wanted this segment to be about.
So basically, I have listened to a podcast for a long time called Ear Biscuits with Rhett and Link, and they always do a rec at the end of theirs, and that's kind of the hatchling of the idea. Many other podcasts do this, but it came to me while reading a book, and that will end up being one of my recommendations. But it's just other sci-fi stuff. We do movies all the time. Why not just hit up some of the other sci-fi worlds that we all know and love? We all have huge backgrounds in other things. I know novels, TV shows, just all different sorts of other media that aren't just movies. And although that's kind of our main vibe, it's kind of what we handle because it's hard to handle a bunch of episodes or handle a bunch of books in one episode of the podcast. This is just our way to talk about those things that we love and enjoy without having to dedicate a whole episode to it.
Yeah. All right. So this segment will not be on every single week or every single episode. So this will be just as we feel like we need to talk about it. I'm the one doing it this week, so I'm actually going to go ahead and pull it up. I am currently in the middle of season 2 of a TV series that it is called The Ark. It is on Sci-Fi Channel, or I don't get Sci-Fi Channel. I watch it on Peacock. But it is a whole bunch of no-name people. They leave in the Earth because basically the Earth is being devastated, and the Ark basically is the name of the ship that they're on. And it is just, I don't want to talk too much about it because in case you guys all want to go out there and watch it, because I don't want to spoil anything. I want to keep it spoiler free. But I will tell you this: basically, the premise is the entire command staff gets wiped out, and so they're all a bunch of lower deckers are the ones that are running the ship. So, and of course, it's the all the different aspects and the fighting in between when you have 3 or 4 lieutenants and they're all saying, "Oh, I need to be the captain. I need to be the captain. No, I should be the captain." Things like that. I mean, it's a really good series. I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm in the middle of season 2. They have not said they're going to cancel or add a season 3 yet. So I don't know what that means because I haven't gotten that far into the series. So, but anyway, all right. Our next segment will be for you guys to contact us.
Crypto Enterprise.
Please contact us. Tell us if you agree with our ratings or how you would fix or improve this movie, or if there's a movie that you would like us to review. The easiest way to do that is if you're watching us on YouTube is to comment below. For those of you that are audio-only listeners, you can reach us on either X or Facebook at TheseSciFiGuys. Or you could email us, TheseSciFiGuys@gmail.com. Man, that's a good voice, isn't it? I'm kidding, guys. Just messing around with some recording, trying to get some parts where it would be the same script every time. Instead of reading it out and messing up, I figured, hey, let's record it once and make it good. So, yeah. Okay. So we're coming to the end of the show. Now we want to talk about next week. Next week, Chad chose our movie for next week. And it is, dun, 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 The Last Starfighter. Disney. Good movie. Been years since
I'm
I've seen
intrigued.
this.
Very excited.
It's to let you know that, hey, if you play video games, kind of like what I got right there behind me, you can play video games, you can become a pilot of spaceships. Premise is good, so I'm sure we'll have all kinds of discussion and stuff on that.
Listen, that kind of happens in the modern world in the military. So
Very true.
This is true. This is true. This is true. All right. Well, until next time, everyone.
Crash and burn.
The Sci-Fi Guys is an independent broadcast by The Sci-Fi Guy Productions. Super Epic is music courtesy of Alexander Nakarita and is found on creatorchords.com. For more information on upcoming episodes, follow us on X at The Sci-Fi Guys. For our audio-only listeners, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Like, subscribe, or leave a comment to let us know how we're doing.